This morning, I got a great question about how to support kids across kindergarten through 12th grade when it comes to language, literacy, and reading and writing. And I wanted to pop in and answer it. So, this person was interested in my Language Therapy Advanced Foundations course that is designed to give speech pathologists a framework for supporting the language skills that will help them learn to read and write and really function well in school and in life. And the question was about the program specifically and whether or not it is a one size fits all that helps kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. And so, my first goal with anything that I present and with the framework that I developed is to support kids and give professionals a framework that's going to work for kids all the way through their from elementary through high school. But the question that I get a lot is how do you do that when you have so many different ability levels, so many different levels across the grade levels and grade level expectations? How does that actually work? So I wanted to just give a little explanation about my philosophy and how I would support kids from an SLP's perspective, but really just anybody who is a professional who wants to support kids' language skills. So I have developed a framework that I refer to as the Essential Five, which is designed to support kids' vocabulary and language skills in a way that builds metacognition, executive functioning, problem solving, independent word learning, so that kids can have the vocabulary and the language skills that they need to support high level processing for things like reading comprehension, writing, and also so that they are able to problem solve when they are using language. That's really ultimately what we want to do. Language is generative. Kids need to be able to figure out a strategy when they come to a word that they don't know. They need to be able to pay attention to the parts of sentences so that they're able to use robust sentence types when they're writing or comprehend robust sentence types when they're reading. So the framework that I teach really covers 5 elements. It covers semantics, syntax, morphology, phonology, and orthography, because these are the things that are going to give them the underlying language skills that they need in order to support those reading comprehension skills and the writing skills that are going to be really important for academic environments. And this is also going to help with their oral language as well. And I do it in a way that helps them to really build problem solving skills. The question is that I often get is, okay, how do you do this in a way that is going to be appropriate for, a second grader versus a high schooler? And how does that work? Well, the way that I see it is that this framework and this process, because I designed it from the SLP's perspective, I'm not saying that I think that SLPs are the only people that can work on these types of skills. I actually encourage my SLPs that go through this process to learn it and then start teaching it to other people so that they can expand the scope of their expertise and their influence. But the reason that I teach it the way that I do is because this is designed to be something that is for somebody who's supporting kids who are already getting a curriculum. It's supposed to be something that is in addition to. So what happens is that a lot of kids who need support in language and literacy, who aren't making progress with the regular curriculum, they're getting this curriculum and they're in school and they're getting the support that is fine for the majority of the kids in that class. A lot of kids are able to learn a lot of language skills and a lot of strategies for learning language skills. They are able to learn those things through implicit learning. They are able to use their problem solving, their executive functioning to just sort of pay attention to things and figure things out. And what they get in the general education classroom is enough for them. But for kids who are struggling, they need those strategies, those language skills. They need those things to be taught more directly. And so the framework that I teach is designed to teach those things more explicitly for the kids who need it. So it's something that is meant to be designed and used in addition to the curriculum that's already there. It's not meant to be a replacement. So I wanted to be very clear on that this is something that is designed to be used by someone who's providing that supplemental intervention for kids who need it. It's not meant to be a replacement. Now, the way that it's customized in order to be appropriate for, whatever a level that kid is at, is that I teach a set of strategies that you can use with different types of content. So the way that you make it more or less difficult is that you use different content. You make the content more or less difficult. So for example, because we have, kids going through the school systems, and I have people coming into the program from all over the world, all different geographic regions. Everybody has a little bit of differences in the vocabulary and the content that's being covered in the curriculum. There would be no way for me to say, like, these are the words that kids need to know in first grade, second grade, third grade, etc. But what you can say is, these are the types of words that kids are being exposed to. So what you want to do, the way that you would customize this and think about providing support from a standpoint of it being individualized, is that you'd want to use a set of strategies, which is what I teach. But in order to make it more or less difficult, you're going to want to collaborate with those other people that are working with the child, like the special ed teachers, the general education teachers. Figure out what content and vocabulary words that are being taught in the curriculum. And then you use that with the strategies that I teach in order to make what you're doing more or less challenging and to make it appropriate for what that child needs. So that's how you make it more difficult. I teach the process. You make it more difficult with the content. Obviously, there are other ways you can scaffold for a younger kid versus an older kid, but the way that I make it customized is that I don't teach you a curriculum. I teach you a framework. I teach you strategies. And ultimately, what you want to do for your kids is to teach them strategies as well. Content is relevant. Of course, you want to teach, robust vocabulary for kids, but it's really hard to figure out what vocabulary kids are supposed to know across the grades. It's so variable. What you want to focus on is, yes, thinking about vocabulary, thinking about words that are going to be relevant, pull words from the curriculum to make it more or less challenging. But really what you want to focus on is giving kids strategies that they're going to be able to use so that when they're reading, when they're writing, they're going to be able to apply those problem-solving skills. That's going to help give them a lot of good practice with language when they're outside of your setting. So that's how I address the issue of a curriculum versus a framework. Ultimately, a lot of SLPs come to me. They wish that they had a curriculum for language therapy, but really that wouldn't be appropriate because the curriculum, that wasn't working for them. What they need is to learn strategies so that they can build their metalinguistic awareness, develop some metacognitive strategies, and build that vocabulary. So that's why I teach what I teach in Language Therapy Advanced Foundations. I'm actually going to share a link to the program in the comments if you have any questions, but I wanted to just hop in and answer this great question that I got.